Well, nsibidi is the form of writing. Actually, it's much more than just a form of writing. It's an ancient form of communication among the people of southeastern Nigeria that uses speech, embodied movement, and placement of objects, and also graphic symbols to express ideas. But it wasn't until I got to the university, I was looking for forms of which to express myself, that I came in contact with the artists who have done work using nsibidi and uli forms of uli aesthetics, also in eastern Nigeria. Then the artist Obiora Dechukwu's work really interested me because he was using nsibidi symbols in his work, and I went back to read more about what it was, and I realized that this is something that I actually grew up with, and as I began to explore that aesthetics, I became very much attracted to it as a form of visual expression. What happened as I was exploring nsibidi, I was really much more taken by the aesthetics of that visual culture, of reducing ideas to just a basic essence. So it was on the platform of that aesthetic philosophy that I started to see how I could also reduce my experience and even form to their essence. I guess also my work at the newspaper also, that philosophy also really helped as well, because working as an illustrator, I go to work and I'm given several pages of what the journalist wanted to do that day. I have to read through it and just what is the essence of the story. I am interested in exploring my drawing in so many different media, so I got really fascinated by the possibility of the digital media as a tool to draw. So through the digital media, I got to see the potential for doing large format. So when I was in a residency in Amsterdam, it's 2006, I believe. When I had this residency, I had a whole space to myself. It was a big studio, and I said, well, I've always wanted to draw big, so I decided to just explore. Since I had that space to hang, whenever I finished a drawing, I would put it up and have all of them in one space. So it was in Amsterdam that I really started to draw large on paper. In the Netherlands, and around Christmas time, from November to December, there's what they call the Zwarte Piet. It's called Black Peter. Now, this character is supposed to be the one to help Sinterklaas. Sinterklaas is the equivalent of Santa Claus here. And then he has all these, helpers. People in black faces, basically Dutch people painting themselves in blackface with kinky hair and so on, and running around and doing silly things. And they are the ones, actually, in their own interpretation of this, they are the ones who punish the children for bad behavior. They're the boogeymen. It was so surreal to be in a place where everywhere you go, from candies to cookies, have the face of this minstrel. I was like, I just felt really insulted in a city that I love so much, because I really love the Netherlands and Amsterdam. And that period, between those months, it's just where I just felt like, wow. So it was then that really hit me. I started doing the slave narrative series, and sort of, within the work itself is a story that also talks about, the Dutch involvement in slavery, and how, there's the ships that they built that actually used to export, slavery. And, though much Dutch children don't know about the history of the involvement of the Dutch in the slave trade, because most of the involvement was in Suriname, in the Americas, in the islands, in the Caribbean. where they had their sugar plantations and so on. So they never really had, slavery on the mainland Dutch, So that started the whole series of the slave narrative, and I did two works then, and it's an ongoing series because I want to do based on more research that I've done. I started the ephemeral pieces in Virginia. I started thinking about the issues of identity and who I am and things like that started coming. I guess it happens to almost most immigrants that go anywhere. Eventually, you begin to question yourself about when people ask you, so where are you from? And the questions, the answers start becoming more complex. Or then you begin to question, what do they want to know? Where I came from to be here, or where I was born, issues like that. So that started coming into my consciousness a lot more, and the issue of erasure, of the issue of identity as an ephemeral condition that could be affected by place, circumstances, and things like that. So I started that project where I use the space, the architectural space, as a way to define memory in that way. So I fill it with memory, knowing that eventually I am going to wipe it off, or somebody else is going to wipe it off. Sometimes the physical space would also, determines what it is that I put in there. I don't go in with a preconceived plan of what it's going to be. Once I stand there at that moment of making it, when I'm just about to start and look at the space, I begin to form my design and composition at that moment.